Welcome everybody to another CMO Circle webinar. It is Friday, it is 1 p.m. on the last Friday of the month. So that means AI marketing webinar is back. Time for another mind-melting trip across the Rubicon of AI and marketing to take us to places that we didn't think we'd be a couple of years ago, but we're certainly glad that we're at, I think. So this topic was not only requested, but also one that we found fascinating all around the world of agentic e-commerce. It's going to be overtake e-commerce in 2026 question mark, and let's keep the question mark on there. Maybe the question mark ends by the end of the webinar, so let's see. So we've got some folks that are doing some really interesting stuff at the forefront of that, on the builder side and also on the client side as well. We love to hear from clients on there as well. So we have Vinod from Bayezon AI and also Raj from Bayezon AI, an unbilled guest. Again, we like that as well. He's going to come and talk for a little bit as well. So we've got two of the Bayezon folks and Mike Cheng from City Beach, an Australian brand. Let's just think about the beach today for people in the UK. It's just helpful. There are people on a beach somewhere in the world. It's not us, and I hope so. I'm going to pass along to Raj in a second. So remember, if you're watching back on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment below there. Follow us on the web, Instagram, TikTok to check out more great content like this that we deliver to you regularly. So I'm going to pass it over to Raj, who's going to then pass it over an intro, Vinod and Mike, and let's get started. So Raj, over to you, my friend.
All right. Good morning and good afternoon. My background is building AI and AI platforms. Prior to starting Bayezon, I built the AI platform for Emasis. You may have heard of it, which was acquired by SAP. One of the quick things about what we did in the past is it was all about personalization. We tried doing personalization in the channels. We did some sort of a personalization in landing pages. But really, if you think about it, we quite not got the hold of how personalization works. We try segments, maybe personas, maybe we use some of the, like the first name, last name, etc., to personalize things, but we never really personalized it to the level where customers or consumers were fascinated and they actually got the experience they wanted, right? And this year, it's all about to change. It actually changed 2 years ago, if you think about it. But this year, it's coming mainstream. And if you go to the next slide, please. What is agentic commerce? And it was fascinating. I was at NRF a couple of weeks ago in New York, and every single session that we went to was about agentic commerce, including the keynotes from Google, where Sundar Pichai was about agentic commerce. You know what was interesting? Everything was theoretical. Everything was like, hey, we could do something like this. Maybe we can achieve something like this. Shopify made a huge announcement on agentic commerce saying, hey, we've got this in beta version. You could potentially use it. And if you asked every user or every people who attended that conference, and if you asked them the question, what is agentic commerce? They never had the right answer for it because it's kind of like a confusing subject at the moment and is also evolving over a period of time. But majority of the people, when I speak to them going, yeah, agentic commerce is about having a chatbot, the answer is not. E-commerce is just not the communication interface. If you think about it, right? It's got everything. It's got top of the funnel. It's got discovery. It's got things like search in between. It's got the PLPs. It's got the PDPs and also recommendations. So there's like tons of items which come into play. So think about how the new way of AI can change every single component to it to create an end-to-end experience. Without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my very close friend and the CTO for Bayezon to walk us through some of this concept, right? It's too early for us to say, hey, this is what agentic commerce is. So, Vinod, take it away.
Thank you, Raj. Hello, everyone. Vinod, I look after technology and strategy at Bayezon AI. Thank you for taking the time to be with us on a cold English afternoon. Just to break down what we are talking about from an agentic commerce perspective, So we are seeing a future where personal agents are going to be buying and searching on behalf of consumers. Now, this is not some utopian thing. This is there today. If you looked at LinkedIn this week, Claudebot, which is the personal AI assistant that can buy, search, compose your emails, take actions on your behalf, that's already there. Yes, there are some security issues, but we are getting there very, very quickly. So e-commerce is really evolving from what used to be, all right, I'm going to go to a website, I'm going to click filters, I'm going to search for stuff, to conversational buying, where a consumer wants to have a natural conversation to buy the product, be it on Google AI mode or whether it is on a customer's website. But are retailers really ready for that? The answer is no. See, ChatGPT, Google, they will sort their side out, right? They do ads, they do AI mode, they're going to have natural language conversation. That's great. But how about retailers being ready for it? So if you look at the announcement that Google made, so they launched what is called the Universe Commerce Protocol last week, 2 weeks ago, which allows you to search, buy, and actually complete the entire transaction on the Google AI mode or on any AI consumer services, which is great for Google. But what does that do for the brand? How do retailers get ready to power human conversations when it comes to commerce? That is the problem that we are trying to solve at Bayezon AI. Now, it's quite simple in terms of what the problem is. It's not it's not a chat conversation problem. It is not a chatbot problem. Anytime you hear about agentic commerce, people throw about, oh well, let's put a chatbot on top of the website, it's gonna be fine. No, it's not gonna be fine. You're gonna have to fix the most important problem, which is data. Agentic AI really depends on having rich, enriched data. When I say enriched data, this is not about sort your data models out. This is about, do you have rich data set that can power a human conversation? When someone comes and says, "Hey, I want to go, I want to be going to a beach party in Brisbane," does it really translate that to your data and help customers discover the product? And the next problem that we want to solve is, okay, that's great. Fine, we fix the problem of the data, we power the human conversation, but how do we do this in near real time, right? Because this is not about, oh, I'm going to find the preference of the customer. I'm going to have their preferences in my system. I know what they probably are going to buy. No, there is rich context to what the customer is asking for. So how do we power near real time AI? And then give them that in a user experience, which is very different to what it is today, which is, all right, I'm gonna click something, I'm gonna click a filter, I'm gonna type some keywords in, and I'm gonna hopefully find a product on a customer's website. That's not what agentic commerce is. Agentic commerce is a reimagined user experience that powers human conversation and allows you to buy, which is what we're building at Bayezon, which is what we will hopefully see MC talk about as we get to a section. But let's talk about the first problem, right? Data. It's a simple stuff. Everybody says this. Every AI guru you will find on LinkedIn and outside will say, you need good AI, you need good data. That's great. But more often than not, retailers are left alone in solving this problem. Now, if I had gone to MC at the start of this process and said, MC, you know what? I need this attribute, I need the fit attribute, I need what it means, which occasion it is going to be. MC is going to be like, why would I implement AI? I might as well do that myself, and then I don't need AI. But that's where we need to actually fix, enrich the data, which is what we do at Bayezon. Here's an example. What do you see in front? If you take a look at it, what is it? It's a white dress. That's great. On the left-hand side, you see a description. Yeah, it's a decent description. But actually, there is much more richness about this data because it's actually a spaghetti strap. It's actually a loose-fitted dress. So when someone comes in and says, "I want a loose-fitted spaghetti strap dress," the system is not going to find it. Traditional searches won't find it because you just don't have that. And humans like to speak in the language of humans, right? I would look at this and say, yeah, okay, fine. I'm going to a beach party. What should I wear? That's really what I would ask for. How do you translate that into into an intent and a conversation is by enriching the data, which is what we do. Hey, MC.
Like, give you context, everything written on the left is done by human. Everything done on the right is essentially done by Bayezon platform. We have a team of product enrichment that actually does those by citing or touching the garment. That's all getting manufacturer information. That's what they're able to put in detail-wise. All the information on the right is done through Bayezon and I guess AI or Google Vision. So it really complements what our existing teams already, almost automates it to a certain extent. And it's things like a human just can't, I guess, like classify like trends or, like even like spaghetti straps, like those things. We couldn't do that at a scale. Our business has 122,000 SKUs at any given time. So it's just so hard for a team to be able to put that amount of details and enrichment into those products.
Mike, seeing as you're chatting quickly ahead of your bit, do you just want to give yourself a quick intro? Because it's the first time that people have heard from you, like who you are, what you do in the company you're from. Sorry to jump in, Vinod. Is that okay?
No, yeah, sure. Yeah, Mike. So I work for a brand called City Beach Australia. The brand's been around for 40 years, online in-store presence, lifestyle brand, probably akin to like a PacSun. We do vertical branded products, everything from street surf, skate, lifestyle, fashion. Yeah, and I think it's a big brand house. So our focus is really to have product discovery as well. Our customer demographic ranges from boomers all the way to Gen Z plus. With Gen Z plus comes the dilemma of micro trends. So we were looking for a solution where traditionally what we'll search for category based, as in filters or site search or keywords. Now it's really down to like things like coastal grammars and micro trends that I'm still learning, everything from baddie to mob wife to coastal grammar to cowboy carter. It was just really hard for us to really classify our product for those trends that change everything from a weekly basis to those micro trends was so hard for us to keep on contact, keep up to date with. So hence we work with Bayezon to really focus in on using AI to identify those trends and classify those trends on our website.
Yeah. MC, thank you so much. He can't contain himself, so he had to jump in. So, so what is important about this is just to give a little bit more background. When we were building the platform for Emasis and when we wanted to do personalization, what really stopped us from what I call as personalizing to the nth degree? We all said we personalized one-to-one, but we really didn't. We all know that. What stopped us from doing that personalization is mainly the data, right? If you think about it, each and every human searches in a very unique way. So this particular product can be searched in n number of ways, right? And that is the key. The site searches we currently have are using at best, maybe a vector search. A vector search is like, a few tags, few words put together, we find the product. But humans don't think like that. Humans think like, you know what, I want to go to a beach party. I want to do this. I want to have a clothes, which is this coastal grandmother. If you see the one at the bottom there, that tag in the bottom, which says #coastal grandmother, it's a top trend, which is happening in Australia right now in TikTok and Instagram. So when people see that in Instagram and TikTok, they're not able to articulate it. All they know is, oh, it's a coastal grandmother trend. I want to go and buy that, right? But that data does not exist. What we do is we tap into TikTok, Instagram, and 70 plus fashion magazines. We take all those micro trends, like what MC was talking about, and then we almost reverse engineer it. Think about it, right? We'll say, hey, this product here fits that trend because we know it kind of fits that sort of a style. It's got a spaghetti strap, it's got V-neck line, even down to things like it's got ruffles and things like that. So we have n number of attributes. Some products will have up to 300 attributes. Some product will have up to 600 attributes. Whereas in a classical catalog, we will have maybe 10 at best, 10 columns of information at best, right? So in the past, when I was building AI platforms, the retailers gave us catalog information with maybe 10 rows, maybe 20 rows. To Mike's point, they have 120,000 SKUs and they onboard like 10,000 SKUs a week, right? So there's fast fashion is moving. So you don't even have time to label them manually. So what the system does is the system identifies how this product can be searched and what are the information that we need to create. So almost think about it like a product identification mechanism, right? So this is one example. Vinod will take you through another example. So Vinod, back to you.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks for jumping in. So another example, which is not fashion but still in retail, is a drill bit. If my wife came in and said, hang a clothesline for me, I wouldn't know what to buy. I probably think I need a drill, right? But if I go to B&Q, I'm probably going to look at this and say 1900 RPM. What does that even mean? I don't particularly know. But what I do need is something that fits me as a DIY person who's not that well experienced. Um, doesn't need to use this multiple times, probably a few times a year. How do I actually ask that? Normally, I would go to the shop and ask that to someone on the shop floor. But that's what Bayezon does, where we then break out the data into attributes that humans can actually search for rather than technical specification. And this is important because this not only solves the problem of discovery within your website or within your platform, it solves the problem of discovery much more upstream. We get our customers agentic ready. When Google and ChatGPT and Perplexity come in and start searching, when conversational searching, our data is ready for use. And that's how we make, City Beach and our other customers ready for what is the agentic future. And when we have that data, then we are then able to write much more richer description, which means top of the funnel, we are actually able to get your organic search improved, which then leads to better discovery, leading to better conversion. So the whole thing is linked. So if we do not fix the data problem, we're not going to fix every other problem, which is why we keep saying agentic commerce is not a chatbot. Agentic commerce is a much more involved uh, point to actually deliver a connected consumer experience by bringing data, real-time AI, and actually a unique agent-first experience, which I'll show in the next page. So now that we've solved the data problem, everybody's happy, we're all discoverable. But how do we take it to the hands of the users and make it feel super seamless in an agentic world? So let me click this video. Hopefully it'll work. So what you're seeing here is not a demo. This is what is currently live at City Beach. So that is an end-to-end agentic interface, which then shows products on the right-hand side, the conversation on the left-hand side, and lets you do that from a single interface. So I've gone and I've said, okay, show me dresses. So what this is doing right now is it's looking at the catalog. It's saying, okay, I think I know what I'm looking for. All right, let me actually determine what the current trends are, and then assemble the product set near real time for you. Now that's important, right? Because we are bringing the website to you rather than asking you to go search on the website. So I'm looking at it, I'm saying, okay, that's great dresses, that looks great. I want to give a little bit more context. I'm actually going on a night out. Let's see how that changes how our system operates now. Because we're looking at this and saying, okay, we know dresses, we know it's for women. Okay, they're probably going on a night out. Let's look at what is reflective of a night out outfit. This is where the data part comes together, because we would have identified that these products are a good fit for a night out based on our data set. That's great. We found dresses. I like them, but how about LBD? I don't know how many of you know about LBD. I mean, I didn't know about LBD until I was working with MC. LBD is a lingo for a little black dress. Now, I didn't know that. Now there is no way you could physically manually tag all your products uh, to being saying, okay, those are what does LBD mean, which is where the enriching of the data is super critical, which we do. And then we also talk to trends at Instagram, social profiles and whatnot, and determine the lingo that's currently on. And then this is important. You've now gone from there, you've gone to the PDP, you've actually looked at the product. Again, this PDP has been generated near real time for you. and you've added to the back. The thing to notice, you haven't left the interface. You're on a single page. You have not moved away to view more details about a product or anything about the product. You still remain in the same interface and you're back having that conversation. That is what reimagining the user experience sounds like and looks like. And we built this ground up because the traditional commerce experience does not fit the agentic world we are walking into. And that's where we feel retailers are not ready, and we will help them get ready. So to summarize what we spoke about, and if I can get to the next slide, agentic commerce is not a chatbot. We're going to repeat this forever purely because the entire market is flooded with, you can have a chatbot for this, you can have a chatbot for this. Chatbot really solves service problems. Agentic commerce is a lot more than that. So if you see at the bottom, it's our data layer, which we use to enrich the product data set with the 300 attributes, with the trends, with the promotions, so that we are able to search for a singular product in multiple ways. You could search for a white dress as coastal grandmother. You could search the same white dress for a beach party, or you could search the same white dress for a white dress, right? There are multiple ways you could search for that. And that's what the data platform is super powerful. And then comes the intelligence layer on top, which is how do we convert the intent of the user, the context of what the user is saying, the context of what the user said in the last conversation, and translate that into a discovery and get that information from the catalog. And at the top, you see, that's the actual agentic layer. It's just not chatting. There is a conversational agent. Yes, it talks to us. It gets the conversation going. But we have other agents working hand in hand. So we have the description agent, which writes rich description and allows you to get organic search traffic increase. You have the AEO agent and SEO agent, which will help the search parameters and optimization going. You have the site search, which will provide similar experience on your site as well. So that's what we mean when we say agentic commerce is just not about one thing. It's about multiple agents working hand in hand, using intelligence on an enhanced, rich data set
Yeah.
to increase conversion.
Well, one more thing I want to highlight here, Vinod.
Yeah.
When you saw the demo, I don't know whether you noticed, we didn't leave that page at all. Typically, if you think about it, the users, we as e-commerce users, we would have navigated to hundreds of pages. If it's my missus, should have navigated like thousands of pages. And we were all led to believe that the more time a user spends on a website, the more they convert. Agentic commerce is rewriting the script. We can see that people are spending half, if not less. I mean, Mike will talk to that a little bit more as well. And they're actually spending more. And there is no magic behind it. There's no clever stuff. What it boils down to is people are going in, they're staying on that single page. The website is changing to their needs rather than them having to navigate through the website. And they're getting exactly what they want just by typing in. It's like, think about when we did Google, right? Like when we used to Google, there were like multiple links, you had to go and search and whatnot. ChatGPT came and changed it overnight. It's like, I'm not going to navigate to everywhere. I just want information to come to me. And that's exactly what the agentic commerce platform is doing. So for such a thing to happen, a chatbot is not going to work. What you need is every single part of the website need to become its own agent. And that's what Vinod is highlighting here, where yes, you need a conversation agent, otherwise you cannot talk to the website. And it can be voice, it can be video, it can be text. We just have the text for you here. But you need to think about the SEO agent, right? It's actually happening in the background. It's also the trend agent that we spoke about. And also the description agents you see, which actually populates everything in real time. And the PDP you see, the PLP you see, everything is kind of curated in real time. So if you think about it, the whole website you have is a single page, which kind of morphs and changes and adapts to the user. So when we set off the journey, Vinod and I set off saying, hey, you know what? We want to redefine how personalization works. This is what we envisioned that, yes, in a preference, I might be interested in in a certain type of clothing. But for that context, at that particular point in time, my preference has changed because my context has changed. And we were never able to do that. We said like, hey, I can see the customer has bought a white dress before. I'm going to send them personalized information, or I'm going to show them a banner on e-commerce about white dress. But now the customer is actually wanting a black dress, but it's for a party and it's for a night out. So that is so important to have multiple agents running, which kind of touches every part of your website in one page, right? And the other thing I also want to highlight as an important one is their existing website still remains. It's not like it's one or the other. We can coexist with their existing website. And that is where the key is. Sorry, I'm stealing too much of MC's thunder because we just get passionate about stuff, right? So, I'll hand it back to you guys.
Without further ado, I mean, we've spoken about the concepts of it. We've spoken about what we've done at Bayezon AI, but then it's probably more valuable listening to the customer who's pioneering this at City Beach. So MC, over to you. World's first
I think, yeah.
platform with City Beach.
Yeah, I think the journey really started off like last, probably November 2024. We're talking about, ChatGPT has been around for a while. How do we really test this? Internally, we really focus on like, what can we use to improve process? But halfway through, decided to really pivot to let's do customer facing. As a marketer, I'm good at measuring things as well. So I can measure, I can A/B test. So we really went, let's actually use a chatbot. V1 of Sunny, or Bayezon AI powered Sunny, was essentially a chatbot. And on your left-hand side, I was really just keen to see how this converted. So we ran this for better half of like 4 months. And to be honest, I didn't expect it to work that well. It converted about 5%. And then we're like, okay, we've got all of this, I guess, we've got Sunny trained up. There was lots of inference around like product information. Obviously, there's guardrails set in for like, be able to get it to, trust me, I've tested. I've been asking Sunny to sell me drugs. It didn't really do it. So there was a guardrail put in place. The bigger one's trading on trends as well. So we decided to really go, why don't we build this into an actual e-commerce platform? And that's where V2 came on, which is what we're currently on. So with V2 platform, it still has the elements of a traditional website where you have filtering, you have carousels, you have add to cart, but you have the contextual thing on the left-hand side and things that we keep talking about, like your site search, your navigational clicking through on filters and categories is never going. It's going to be keyword based. It's going to be text based. It's not going to have contextual, and that's where it becomes really powerful. To give you an example, we talk about occasions, trends. Even say you're shopping for swimwear, you're like, I'm shopping for bikinis, and you go, oh, actually, I want something that's a little bit more modest. The key modest is never going to sit in your product information. You're never going to have that as a keyword in your product description. The fact that this AI agent or agentic commerce was able to contextualize modest and show you bikinis that are modest, because you're looking for more modest swimwear. That's quite groundbreaking. So with that in mind, it's like, I think contextual is so key. For the last, 10 years, everyone's gone down to really short-based, prompting. You're searching on your mobile phone, you're typing like clothes near me, cheap clothing online, trendy clothing. But now we're moving to an era where a customer is going to engage with a conversational agent and refine their search. You've got this thing on the left-hand side, which is this continuation of like a chat. You can refine. We're finding people are staying on a website longer. They're converting higher. They're adding more things to the basket. And also, it's really complementing your existing e-commerce experience. We're not moving to a new model. I mean, I would love for someone to just go contextual e-commerce straight up, but a lot of customers or as retailer myself, that's not something I'm not going to do. So to be able to have this kind of solution complement the way our e-commerce site works has been quite groundbreaking. So next slide. But yeah, so a lot of things. What do we really want to do? We want to sell more, obviously. As a marketer, we want to sell more. We want to get more engaged. We want product discovery. Product discovery means, we've got 120,000 SKUs. We want those products to be shown more. There's things on our product, on our product inventory catalog that won't show. Contextually, it starts showing. we want to spend this. What does that mean? All of us are marketers. We're putting money into Google, TikTok. We want to land them on these pages, but they're converting more, so you're getting more out of marketing dollar. But the ones that we're really getting ready for, from e-commerce platform, it does what it is really getting agent ready. So you've got your model context protocol, you've got your unified commerce product coming up as well. Yeah, you have got agent to agent. So what does that mean? It's traditional as marketers, we're very good at SEO, but we're not very good at what's coming out with, I guess, AEO, GEO, as they're calling it, is when ChatGPT crawls your website or Gemini crawls your website, it's going to have a perception of, a site crawl that's done before. Might hallucinate a little bit. It's not really going to pull the correct information about your product. It's going to generalize based on web crawls or other context is done. But if you have a bot or agent on your website that's trained up on your data, those two agents can talk to each other. So when a customer comes to your website and they go, I want to search for a pink bikini for a festival that they're going to wear with denim skirts, that's going to come back with very strange results. But if your bot or your agent is already set up to kind of answer that question, it can actually talk to a ChatGPT or Gemini and actually, I guess, populate the results and get it ready for that prompt that user's putting in. What that opens it up for a customer or for a retailer is now you have infinite combination of pages. Every single prompt is a URL. I want to go to the beach and, with I'm going to a EDM festival, I need denim skirts. That is a URL now. So you have citybeach.com/sunny query string. So imagine the permeation of that. You can link to essentially endless combinations of URLs and destination URLs and landing page. Even better, you can land people on that page and they can refine as well. So we've started refining that and doing trends as well. So we've got trends on our web page that links to different types of trends coming in. You can use that for your marketing collateral, for all your ads. Also, you're ranking for that organically. We've tested this with Google. Google is actually crawling a lot of the agent descriptions as well. And think about, all the time you spend on SEO changing descriptions. Imagine you have a prompt library that has changed my SEO description or changed my product descriptions to reflect the trend. This changes across your website on the fly as well. Imagine being able to land your Google Shopping or your PMax ads on a dynamic landing page or a trend page that's created by Bayezon or your agent. You've got so much permeations, and you have unlimited combinations of URL that you can use now, which means then you're not fixed to standardized category pages that set or taxonomies that you sit on your web page. So with all this in mind, initially we're just testing. Does this work? I guess coming back from a lot of the conferences where there's a lot of AI vaporware, it's the numbers really speak the truth. So for us, over 6 months, especially in the last 3 months of last year, we essentially saw 410% increase in conversion rate. At one point during the Black Friday weekend, anyone that engaged with Sunny in the V2 mode was converting around, I think, topped off at 18% conversion rate, which is groundbreaking. AOVs were higher because they're adding more product to cart because they've got this little window on the left where they're, okay, what about this? Can I add this? Oh, have you got more of this? Can I change it to this color? And then, and when we talk about ROI now, you're moving to a space where it's not really SaaS based. You're down to token usage. So as a retailer, I measure more the token usage. So back in the day, you go, a platform like this would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now it's all based on token usage. So you can really go, hey, if the token usage, say 10 cents, 20 cents per group of conversation, you can scale that out and sell that back to the business, as opposed to, hey, I'm going to pay $200,000 for a platform and I need to justify the ROI. This is very scalable as well. So I measure by the amount of token uses that we use versus the revenue that's brought in, and we're returning a 14.6x, which is unheard of. So,
MC, one question here. You mentioned during the peak season that we got the 18% conversion rate. That's compared to what? What was your base conversion rate in your existing e-commerce site?
Probably. So over peak, you probably see around the high threes. Mm-hmm. So it's just it's insane. So as a marketer, I'm like, I need to get more traffic to this, right? So that's the next part of this. Like, I know people that land on this are going to convert high, but how do I restructure my ads to point them towards, a Sunny or agentic landing page. So that's the next part. There will be a diminished curve, obviously. I think a lot of people are adopting this, are people that use ChatGPT or Gemini to shop and research, but we're ready for this. If you look at what's in the space right now, where there's Agent Force, you've got your Sidekick, you've got Copilot. No one's really doing this. Everyone's still stuck on a little chat bubble, which is just repurposing, a Zendesk customer service bot. Most of the responses are non-generative and actually takes you to a product page. The beauty about the way we've done is the PLP and PD page are created by the platform. We're not taking you to a product page, so that the experience is very seamless, and we can actually control what's on those pages. We can add text, audio, etc. Yeah.
So what do you see or around the challenges of the adoption process? Because it's all great, right? And we are also going through this with you. What is the key challenges you're seeing in getting your audience adopted? It's not about the people adopting within the business. That's easy, right? Because it's AI, it does its own thing. What are you seeing? What is the trends you're seeing about your audience, like your consumers?
It depends. Like, there's a lot of people distrusting of AI. Obviously, to them it's a very new thing. There's a connection around AI is going to take all our jobs, etc. Or but there's other thing is it's quite helpful. So making the utility of contextual search and AI search or AI agent or agentic agents, agentic solutioning websites, more about making it useful, things that the website can't do now. So the adoption is going to come through being making it useful. It makes my life easier. I can find things quickly. I can look at trends. You know what I mean? I can upload an image and get it to search for that particular image. I can ask it, give me a Justin Bieber trend, or give me a Hailey Bieber trend. It will find it and actually bring back fashion inspo, outfit inspo, and things like that. Traditionally, that's another solution you're going to have to find out there. And we've looked at a couple that just don't do it well. Like, it's all encompassing, and it still has it basically is still an e-commerce platform at the core. It just has a lot of extensions that's useful to a shopper or someone that's into fashion and retail.
Okay, thanks. Vinod, next one.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, that's yours as well, MC.
Yeah, so with this in mind, you're really evaluating all your tech stack, essentially, right? You've got your site search, things like Algolia, all these things. Site search is still very based on Elasticsearch, keyword-based search, this weighting. Think about contextual search and text-based search. Very different things. Contextual search is going to add, rich elements into it. That's, things around occasions and trends and, find me something cheap, something that matches this outfit. No search out there really can do it. Like, contextual search is where a platform like this really resonates. Product recommendation as well, similar thing. When you're contextual, now you're contextualizing your recommendation as well. A lot of the product recommendation out there is really based off what, like what someone's viewed or what someone's added to cart. This is basically contextualizing based off if we're talking about trends or outfit or pattern matching, or, this fits in with this outfit. We've essentially Google Vision a outfit it's going to recommend skirts and shoes based off Google Vision technology. Merchandising is another one. So merchandising is still very rules based out there. I don't think anyone's really achieved good one-on-one personalization out there. I think this is the same thing as well. It's going to contextual as well. You've also got a customer that's not just giving you a signal via going to a page or just searching for one particular product or adding a particular thing to cart. You've got someone that's essentially has a conversational window on the left-hand side. They're refining it, so you can use a lot of that data that's real time on the left-hand side, because they've got this engaging window on the left-hand side where they're navigating. That can actually feed a lot of the site search, product recommendation, and product merchandising as well on the fly as well. Then you go into things like virtual support. So this is things like customer support, which right now is very non-generative. Essentially, it's a bastardized but frequently asked question. All the solutions out there like Zendesk. This is where it's going to mix in really nicely. It's going to get to a point where it's taking a lot of the heavy lifting away from your human agents. It's going to get to the customer to a point, but also it's going to be able to you've got a lot of business who don't want to do that. It's going to get to the point where we can escalate to human agent. But the idea is to have that really hybrid approach where this agent bot essentially you have a shopping assistant, but underneath there might be a support bot, a trend bot. They're all kind of conversing each other to formulate a question. Then the overall shopping agent bot's coming up with the I guess the customer facing response. So that's where things get really interesting in this space as well. So all this encompassed together is really a very solid commerce platform that we've been testing for the better of 6 months and seeing really good results. And I'm excited to see more adoption in this space. Like, we're quite new to it. I think every week when I do catch up with Raj and Will, we come up with new terms. We're like, what do we call this? Like, how do we measure this? Like, okay, like, there's just like, it's exciting as a marketer to be able to like, see a new frontier in, the way we market, not just from an e-commerce perspective. This is going to touch all your top of funnel, your mid funnel, your bottom funnel, because essentially it's like, there's permeations of landing pages. You're going to see Google as well, or Meta, change up the way they do all the ads as well. So it's getting ready and preparing yourself for what's coming. And Gemini ads already in beta testing mode. You want to get ready for that. You have an e-commerce solution, but with this e-commerce solution, you're also preparing yourself on like how your agentic, I guess, layer is going to interface with Meta layer. It's going to interface with Google Gemini ad layer as well.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. And, you kind of proposed this, that we're going to consolidate all the stack and whatnot, right? So what prompted you for such thinking? And what is the problem you're trying to solve with, trying to consolidate technology? Obviously, saving a cost is huge, but that's not the driver, right? There must be something else in it which made you think like, okay, you know what? We need to consolidate these technologies together.
I think it just makes sense. Like a lot, I'm from a workflow point of view, it's really good for the team. It's quite streamlined as well. You're sharing, I guess, if a lot of this is built of CDP, so GCP, so you're sharing a lot of that data as well. It's kept one place. Your data is not, doesn't belong to, a half all these different vendors. You don't talk to each other as well. So I think that makes sense where that decentralized, that decentralized information is all sitting in one location, which is you're owning it, as opposed to like it sits on, Salesforce owns it, or like dynamically owns it. I think that makes sense as well. Also, you're also controlling a lot of this. Is like people think you just turn on something and you would just know. Like, you got Microsoft Copilot is probably going to tell you can turn this on and you know. We spent about 10 months training this as well. We're not training it like we're teaching English, but we're inferring it. Like, I'm teaching it trends. I'm teaching it how our customers shop. So a lot of that IP still sits with you as well. You're training your own agent. That sits with you, and that's really important, as opposed to going out, if you decide to change vendor, all the IP's gone, kind of thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Next.
Brilliant. There you go.
Yeah. So it's me and you, Vinod.
This is UMC. Well, I can talk
think,
about that as well. Yeah.
what I think we spoke about this. Is like you're getting ready for your agents coming in, right? MCP, UCP, that's all coming through. You need that layer. You need to start focusing on the AI layer on your side that's going to interface well with all those different agents coming through, especially online customers as well. I actually would prefer a customer coming to our website and shopping through our agentic platform as opposed to going to ChatGPT, paying a 4% clip to Shopify, and also not coming to the website, missing all the branding and all the, all the visuals of my website, like bypassing the website altogether. So I think that's a good move on our before going through that as well. And the other thing is like stitching in, you're navigating a very interesting area. There's a lot of PI information you have to take, in consideration as well. But imagine the bot trained up on customer data with obviously PI restraints put in place. That's going to make the bot more personalized. We're talking about personalization through, this page or this recommender is going to show me personalization. But imagine personalization through context and conversational. That's just next level for us.
Amazing. Thank you, MC. That was great. So, I mean, behold, the answer is 2016 is the year of agentic commerce. Hopefully, we've shown you the concepts. We've shown you a customer who's actually derived amazing value and conversion out of it. And we do think the next 6 to 12 months, it will overtake traditional commerce. Raj, I think it's up to you. Over to you, my friend.
No, I think so. This is great. So, the reason why we kind of predict it's going to take on is we're seeing interesting industries. Like, for example, cosmetics is like a perfect industry, right? If you think about it, it needs a bit of curation, it needs a little bit of guidance. You cannot just form your own routine. You need different things to be put together, and it's very specific to the customer. So gone are the days where you're just going to do a quiz and then like, ta-da, you have it, right? It's not like that anymore. People want a little bit more trust, and they just want a little bit more in-depth advice. And, cosmetics is like a perfect thing. It's electronics, for example, things like anything to do with what I call as considered purchase, like, for example, furnitures. That's just to understand, what fits where and how to do all these things makes a huge difference. And what is interesting is that people are already expecting this. People go to ChatGPT, they expect the answer to come to them. And what is interesting is Google, ChatGPT, they've all put their bets on people coming to their site, i.e., Google AI and ChatGPT, and buying. But here's an interesting thought process for all of you, right? And this is what I always kind of like say to all of my customers, and we talk about it a lot. If everybody's going to buy everything from ChatGPT and Google AI, who's going to come to the website? And why would they come to the website either? Right? That's a very important question. And that's a question which I always ask. People still come to the website, or they want to come to the website when the website experience is way better than ChatGPT or even Google AI. And that happens when you start training your own agent, and when your website is completely agentic and it gives a much better experience than what ChatGPT would give or Google would give, right? So the year where, the general agentic umbrella is taking off, the commerce will have to catch up to it. And this is the year where everything has kind of come together. The tech is here. People are aware. People want it, right? So the curve is peaking, and also the intentions of the customers are also improving as well. So we're bullish about it. We see the trend coming up in different customers as well. But before I kind of go into the next part, I also see a few questions here, which I can take here. Is Rob has asked, is the thinking here that we're going to replace the personalization platforms? Rob, the way to think about it is the agentic commerce platform already has the data for site search. It's got a better data than site search, right? So whatever is provided by Bloomreach or Elastic or Algolia or Covio, they don't do a good thing. It's not because the tech is not good, because the data does not exist, right? So the agentic commerce platform will have the data which can power the site search. So at any point in time, you know what? I want to replace the site search with the agentic commerce platform. You can do that. Recommendations. I built the recommendations for Remaster, so I know how painful it was. The recommendations are far more better with agentic commerce platforms because it's very contextual. So you can replace your existing, recommendations. Things like merchandising platforms. People pay tons of money for merchandising platforms, especially the fashion retailers, right? So the agentic commerce platform already has the merchandising rules, and the way to put things together is already there. We call it the trend agent, right? So that's already there. So the idea is that when you start adopting this, you can adopt the different agents to replace your existing data silos, the older tech on your website, without having to change any website. Because nobody can go, you know what, I'm going to throw everything up in the air, I'm going to change the whole website. It's not possible. It's literally not possible. So you have to do one step at a time, change one thing at a time, test one thing at a time, because something may not work for you. You might go, the trend does not work. No, I don't want to replace it. No problem, right? And that's what I always say when it comes to AI. You got to do step by step, part by part, and that's what MC is also doing. Would you agree with something like that, MC? What I just suggested?
Yeah, I think break it up. Like our roadmap said, essentially for this first one is let's test this and see if it works. Okay, the V1 a chat window works. B2 is like, let's actually make this into a platform, but stitch it to our existing e-com platform and see if this works. Measure it and as you go, and as more releases come, you need to test it. You need to send some traffic to it. You need to A/B test it to your existing website. I think that's a good approach. And with any other AI pop-up out there, let's take that approach as well. People are going to sell you a lot of vaporware. They're going to put slap.ai to the end of everything. You just need to measure it as a marketer and go, got my existing baseline. This is how e-commerce works. This is how my ads work. I'm going to test against that existing baseline, which is true and tested. I've tested this for a decade. Does it do better than that? Am I seeing the uplift?
Yeah.
If we're not, sorry, Raj, to interrupt. If we're asking any more questions now, are we okay, Vinod, if we kill the slides and we can answer without the slides in the background, or did you have one more slide you quickly wanted to show, Raj?
One more slide, and then we can go to Q&A.
Okay.
So one of the things that I was talking to James about, and we wanted to do this exclusively for our audience here because I have a lot of friends in this audience as well. So, and we've done some extraordinary work with them. One of the things which is exclusively what we want to do is it's an invitation-only experience. Bring your data, give it to us. We'll give you a live demo of how it's going to work for you, right? And if we think that this is going to be a good idea, we're happy to give you a limited trial. Yes, there's a bit of expenses from our side, but we would love to do things with you, right? If you don't experience it, you're like, okay, maybe City Beach is different, but my business is different. Yes, your business is different, right? So come to us, talk to us. The first few people who knock on our door, we would love to engage with you. Bring your data. We'll show you a live demo. We'll also give you a limited trial until you're happy with it. Okay. So yeah, we can kill the slides and probably answer the questions.
Fantastic. So everyone's here. We'll email you the attendees afterwards with a link to the slides that Raj had on that. So absolutely no worries if you weren't scribbling that information down. We can get it. Let's try to squeeze in a couple more questions. I'm going to ask one if that's all right, Mike. And this is a question to you. You talked about your audience ranges from boomers round to Gen Z pluses. Have you seen any difference in the data? You've seen amazing results, which is great. But have you sliced that with, say, for example, boomers are getting this versus Gen Zs are getting this on your results? Just because if I'm a kind of boomer, I suppose I am, keep that quiet, but like it's very Ask Jeeves-ish, isn't it? And it takes us back to an internet that used to exist many, many years ago that kind of drove some results. Are you seeing any difference in those kind of age slices with the data that you've got?
I think the bot itself is, we give it a persona. So it's gender neutral. It's called Sunny. There's a persona. It's very helpful. But I think as you talk to it more, it's going to change, not its persona, the way you talk, it's going to answer to that as well. So you don't need like a different persona for that. I think because it's conversational based, I think Sunny will start picking up, a Gen Z will ask for this, a Boom will ask for more like pricing or, more traditional clothing terms. Like it does both. So that's the beauty of it, right? Conversationally, it's going to take on the conversation like it's talking to Boomer. It's going to take on the conversation talking to Gen Z. It does have an overarching persona, but if I'm asking more, hey, I want, slacks or trousers, it's going to know that. Or if I'm asking about trends or, I want to know about micro trends, it's also going to cater to that as well. And I guess that's the beauty of the conversational search, conversational agent, it can facilitate to different kind of queries and different kind of demographics.
Great. Fantastic. Quick question here from Paul. Well, let's try and cover it in a minute. If I prompt well, I can already compare products across brands without visiting websites and then buy direct. Good point. So where does agentic commerce add utility for me as a customer? Very good question. Mike, want to answer that, or Vinod or Raj?
Mike.
I think going back to it, I get this as well, I think, but if you don't have it ready on your website, the answer you're going to get on, say, ChatGPT and stuff like that is going to be at the mercy of how ChatGPT interprets your website. So you're going to have that ready anyway. But also they can come to your website as well. So imagine that prompt on your website on ChatGPT asking about a particular fashion query. It takes you to a website. That prompt's already open now on your website for that customer to start to keep engaging more with your website. And also the answer that goes back from your website or your agent back to ChatGPT or Gemini is also in your tone as well. So either way, you still have to invest in something like this to get, I guess, your.
So, Mike, I think that's a
Yes.
great question. That's a great answer for a brand. I'm asking from the point of view of the customer, what's my benefit?
Right. So, as a consumer that you're buying, Paul, here's an interesting thing, right? So,
Yeah.
ChatGPT does not have all the information about your catalog. It may have, at best, whatever you have on your website, which currently has maybe the basic information, right? Let's just talk about the example that we were saying, coastal grandmother, right? So, ChatGPT may know what coastal grandmother means because it knows about the trend, but it doesn't know that you, as in Mike's City Beach, actually has that product. So it won't put one and one together, right? We're talking from a brand's perspective. We're saying, hey, let's put data sets together so that ChatGPT and Google understands that I have clothing which would fit
So,
that.
Raj, just to save time for everybody else, I think that's good. So what you're saying is, as a customer, I get better answers.
Correct.
Cool. I get it. I think it's important to think from the customer's perspective. That's all I was saying.
Paul can see the clock ticking down as we can do. So well done for jumping on that. He's done this before. Thank you. I appreciate everyone starts jumping off at 2 because we've got more meetings to get to. Want to thank Mike. Want to thank Vinod. Want to thank Raj. Want to thank all the people that have attended. All the people that have asked questions in the chat. It's great to see you here making part of this. Attendees will get messaged after this with a recording on YouTube, the link to the deck from these presenters, and ways to get in touch with them if you choose to ask more questions. So it never stops, it continues on. But yes, will 2026 be the year of agentic commerce? You decide after you've seen that. Maybe you think more, maybe you think less, but we shall see. So we started with a question mark and we ended up with an apostrophe. So there you go. So thank you so much for everybody for participating. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and enjoy the rest of your agentic commerce journeys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe below. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
So much.